Hello everyone and welcome back. Tone here with today's Dominion Daily. These are where I play Dominion almost every day. And we're looking to learn and discuss and improve at this game. I'm still working through Tier 4, which it feels like we're going to be here for a little bit. We still haven't even seen all the cards. I do want to mention yesterday we saw Ironmonger for the first time. And I think I sort of undervalued it at first, and then as we looked at it more as the game went on, I was saying like, that's a pretty solid card. Then I saw some discussion, with some players on the Discord, and they said that this is one of the best opens you can get. So if we look at this, it's a cantrip, so +1 card, +1 action. You reveal the top card of your deck after drawing that card, and you may discard it. Either way, if it's an action card, you get +1 action, a treasure card, +1 coin, a victory card, +1 card. So your starting deck is full of copper and estates. So most often, you're going to be drawing a card, so this replaces itself. If you see a copper, you discard it and take +1 coin. It's pretty much like drawing a copper afterwards as well. Or you get a victory card, you discard the estate, and get +1 card. So that's like discarding your estate and drawing an extra card. It's almost like drawing 3 cards in that case. So this is pretty good early. It does some sifting because it lets you discard cards as you continue to play. I guess in some ways it's a village if you have a lot of action cards in your deck. It can be treated like a village if you have a good engine going on. I bet you that could support that. That's just speculation on my part. It's a strong card there. And actually, I don't know if I discussed this during the game yesterday, but after thinking about the game, I was looking at, where are we? Steward. When did Steward get added? Here we go. So Steward is choose one, +2 cards, or +2 coin, or trash 2 cards from your hand. So usually when I see this, it's when I'm looking, one of the things I look at when I first start the game and look at the kingdom is like, can we trash here? Because trashing tends to be really valuable early. So I often see Steward and I'm like, trash 2 cards from your hand, that's pretty awesome. And a lot of my analysis, like starting off, ends there, like when I'm considering my opening hand and stuff. But this is actually insanely flexible because it's also a terminal silver if you want it to be. And that's actually how we used it in the game yesterday, to hit 5 a few times early when we wouldn't have, in lieu of trashing. But honestly, if there is a village on the board, so if you have like plus actions to get, getting the +2 cards is like really strong as well. So this is like a strong open with flexibility, and it has value like later in the game as well. Yeah, I think I had been undervaluing Steward a bit. It's nice to see these revelations and recognize them, and we can apply them in the future. So that's what I'm looking forward to. But enough of that, and let's just get into a game here. By the way, if you guys want to support this channel and my other related projects, you can do so over at patreon.com/Tonehack, so feel free to check that out. We see Squire for the second time. I have a sentry here, great trashing. Sacrifice is trashing, but I'd rather have sentry. Specialist is really good. Upgrade is good trashing. Bank can be really strong payload. Witch is drawing and some light cursing. I don't know if we've seen Experiment before. 2 cards, 1 action, so it's a lab, and then it returns to its pile. Actually, this is a horse, if you guys know what a horse is in this game, which I don't think we've really seen yet. When you gain this, gain another Experiment. So you get 2 of these, but then they go back to this pile when you play them. Let's see. Which is really relevant for piling out as well, because it's cheap, and it burns through that pile pretty fast. We opened with 5 here, which I think is an easy sentry play for me. So Squire is one that we saw yesterday for the first time. and I didn't appreciate the plus buys on it. It was pretty good in particular with specialists, I felt. Just gonna go ahead and grab that. So we have village, throne room is kind of a village. We have card draw and old witch. I'll probably use for card draw and essentially ignore the cursing aspect of it, because if we're playing enough of those, then you pretty much trash your opponent's curses for them. It can be quite relevant early though. So we have 5 here already. We're definitely going to trash both of these. What do we want to do with this Squire? Do I want to gain a silver? I'm fine with that. And I think I want to get to bank here. I think we can do a lot with like bank, witches, specialist, Squires for buys, farming village for action. Something like that feels really strong here. So I think I'm okay with getting a silver here. And I'm actually going to grab another sentry. I think Old Witch would have been good there as well. Even Specialist for some gains. We could have gained a Sentry with Specialist eventually, probably. 3 here. I think I'm gonna just take an experiment. It's either that or Squire for me. I feel like this is a good way to get some productive turns early. There's not a lot of other competing for at the cost of 3. Our opponent grabbed a witch. Trash that. I'm going to keep the experiment there. We'll draw with our other sentry. Trash that. And I think I'll discard this. No, I don't have to. We can just draw through our deck here. Well, I've trashed a 2 or 3 copper. Two copper, so I'll have 7 to spend, and potentially 2 buys, 8 to spend. Okay, we'll just draw through our deck here. Oh, I won't draw through because there's actually 5 in my deck, which is fine. So we're gonna have 6, 7 to spend here. What am I gonna do with that? I think we want to hit. It's actually tough. I need some actions here. Thinking like farming village, old witch. I'm gonna need more money soon too. Maybe I grab a farming village and a. Oh, I can just gain a silver with this. That's considering buying one. Let's do that again. And in that case, I want something that costs 5. Actually, I'm looking for the bank. That bank can actually be really strong here with all these coppers in my deck still. And with this, well, I don't know if I'm going to draw well now that I have my experiments are no longer in my deck, but I think we will pretty soon here. There's the bank. Still gonna trash this copper. The other thing about the bank is we were talking about getting more treasure into our deck, so that actually fills that role really well too. 2 silvers in a bank would be 4 plus 3, 7 to spend. That's pretty good. We'll keep the sentry up there. I have the Squires, so right now I have 2, and this will be 3. That's 5 to spend. 6 to spend. I'm gonna go ahead and get another silver here. And a specialist, I think. We can play banks with specialist, but it happens before a buy phase, so we won't really have treasures in play. I could use that to duplicate them if I want more, though. The cost of playing them in my buy phase, which is probably worthwhile if we want to buy one because they cost 7. It's a rich card. What do I have here? 4, 7 to spend again. Go for the old witch. I really need some villages, but we're hitting like a price point where it feels like we're hitting 6 and 7 a lot right now, and buying a village for 4 doesn't feel worthwhile. I want to get to the point where we're getting like 2 buys, and I can just buy 2 of these soon. This isn't a fantastic hand, but also, I mean, I could just duplicate my bank, and I think this ends up being a pretty good hand, even if we don't end up being able to buy much. And we do fall short of being able to buy the farming village if I do that, which is unfortunate, but I think that'll be worth it. We gotta take actions with that. I'm gonna copy the bank, and I think I'll grab their experiment here, I guess. Squire, I could have gotten a Squire. Thing is, these are terminal actions, and I don't have a lot of card draw right now. But the experiment is like a short-term gain. I don't know, if we're getting multiple buys at some point, we'll be able to get as many Squires as we want. I have 3 silvers in my deck. I didn't quite appreciate that. What do I have here? 5. This will be 4. If I buy another bank? Actually, I think I want to discard these. Now that I'm generating a lot of money, I kind of want this Squire for the plus buys. Almost regretting that. Yeah, we're trashing a curse here. The old witch, when they play it, if we have a curse in our hand, we're allowed to trash it. Very kind of that witch. So I can either open this with Squire and play 2 actions, and then like Specialist the Witch, but I kind of want to play the Squire with plus buys here. I think I'm actually going to Specialist the Experiment. Does that work? Because it says return to its pile. I bet it doesn't. Let's just play this first and see what we get. Okay. I'm going to Specialist the Sentry, so I'm looking for something that gives me extra actions when I play it. We're going to keep that bank there. Beautiful, trash those. So now we have 6, 7, 8. This will be worth 6 and 7. Holy cow, that's a lot of money. Well, 21 to spend. Okay. This deck is getting good. I just need more consistent turns like this, which means I need the farming villages. I want like another old witch or 2, maybe some specialists, and I need a few farming villages probably, and then more banks, and then this thing will be pretty insane. I don't know if we necessarily have to build that much. So what am I going to buy here? kind of want a farming village like specialist. We'll see how my opponent's turns are doing here. I think we can do one more turn of building and then probably buy out all the provinces in like 2 turns. Some good turns. They're actually drawing through their... Well, they had experiments to draw through their entire hand there. Or deck. They're probably going to buy another province here. Interesting. So they bought one last time, but they're not buying them now. They might have saw how much money I generated last time and realized that they had to build more. I just realized that they got a lot of money for... victory points from sacrifice too. They basically have 2 provinces already. This is a little unfortunate. What are we gonna play on our turn? Silver is 2, bank will be 2, and bank will be 3, so I'll have 4, 7 to spend. 8 to spend. Then I can specialist something. If I specialist the bank, then I don't have as much to spend. That might be the best thing to do. Because that'll let us hit triple province pretty readily. With that in mind... Well, we're not going to draw here. I think I want both of these on top of my deck. And then I have a specialist, the Squire or the bank. I'm going to specialist the bank, so let's take the actions here. Gain a copy of it. This will be 6, in which I think I want another Old Witch now. 7, but yeah, I think I still want that Old Witch. And I think we start buying provinces now. Or is this a deck where you build to the point where you buy all the provinces in one turn? It feels like we could almost get there. That's a lot of curses. I'm not really... The victory point swing from the curses and their sacrifice is like mildly concerning. Just mildly. How much money did they have there? 3, 6... 14. I gotta be careful. I don't think they can triple province. I think I have to keep trashing coppers even though they power my banks pretty well. Heck yeah, Sentry, do your thing. Okay. Do I have to worry about any pileouts? Doesn't look like it. Okay, so this turn I have 6, 7, plus 5, 12, plus 6, 18, plus 7, 25. So like a triple province here. Potentially 26, 27. Do I think they can buy 3 provinces next turn? I don't. And that means I can probably end up with 4 provinces total and like some duchies. So 4 provinces is an extra 24. They'd have... I think I'm down to play that route. So let's see. Do I have... Can I specialist a bank and still buy 3 provinces here? Because that would be 1. And then we have... What would I have? 25 with the last bank being 7. So I'd be at 19. 20. No, I think I have to play that bank. Which is fine. So I guess I'll specialist the Squire. I could also play it twice. That doesn't do much for us. And I think we'll take 2 buys. Actually, do I want a copy of it? I think I do, actually. Bit of an awkward hand, but having 2 sentries means we're going to draw a card and then get our choice of the next 2 cards to draw, or none of them in one more draw, which could kick off a turn. So a little bit of luck here, but let's see what happens. Oh, they're looking at upgrading banks into provinces. I should have looked at that earlier too, actually, because I have a lot of banks. Okay, we need to discard both of those. I need to specialist the sentry. I have to discard both of these. Okay, our turn is dead. That is really unfortunate. And might mean that we have lost. Let's see. I think I'll discard the bank. So that we have a better chance of like drawing through our deck next turn, basically. So I have 3, 6 to spend here. With 1 buy. What helps our deck the most? What are the chances that they have a good turn here as well, actually? They have a bunch of experiments. They're probably going to have a good turn. Because I'm wondering if I just buy an upgrade here and we look at maybe upgrading the bank into provinces if we can. But I think there's only going to be 1 left after their turn. I think that's what I have to assume from them. So what gives us the best... Man, I wish I had 2 buys. I could buy 2 experiments. Would be sweet. I think another specialist in my deck is pretty good. Or should I buy a duchy? If we have the turn we need, we're going to draw through our deck. So I will see my discard pile. So probably a little too early for that. Grab a specialist here. Okay, this looks like a very good hand to have. I'm glad I discarded that bank, because then I would be missing one of these cards. If I were missing like the farming village, then this would be a little more problematic. So we probably open with farming village and then double play the witch specialist. Farming Village will discard any provinces or curses that might be on top of my deck, which is really nice. Look at this game. We are tied in victory points. I bet you we can force a pile out next turn. Maybe I'll be a little short on buys for that. Okay, and they're gonna put all their experiments back into the pile too. That'll be harder to pile out. Yeah, probably not. Just looking at options like that. Yeah, like I said, they're gonna have a strong turn with all those experiments in their deck. They can play the experiment twice with a specialist. I really wish I knew that earlier. I guess it's because this comes before return it to its pile. Wow, they didn't get to double buy provinces. This bodes extremely well for us. That's like a mega turn for them, and they couldn't even get 2 provinces. Wow. Have I overestimated their deck? That was with their like big specialist turn too? Huh. Okay then. Well, I have no more card draw, so what does our deck look like right now? 1, 5, the first bank is going to be 4, then 5, then 6, which is 20. That's enough to buy 2 provinces and win here. Okay. So I just need to... I guess we play one of these for actions. I could play a silver twice with the specialist too, which is better than... Wait, none of this matters, right? Here's how much this first bank plays for when I double played that. 4? Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. That was a good game. That was a fun one. That was a really fun game. Bank continues to impress me. Like, when I look at it, it doesn't feel amazing, but the few times I've taken it, I just get lots of coin to spend. I guess when you end up with like 3 of these in your hand, if you have like 1 or 2 more treasure, it just like builds up. Experiment is a card I'm not sure where I rest at. I actually didn't like the feeling of buying this. And I think our opponent had some turns where they were kind of relying on experiment for card draw a bit. So they'd play the experiments and then they'd have to buy more. So they'd have a good turn, but they'd spend 3 to 6 coin and a couple of buys just getting more experiments back. And I don't think that's a good cycle to be relying on, especially when there's other card draw. So I think experiment isn't that great. Well, I think at least the first time I bought one I liked because I didn't want more terminal actions in my deck with Squire. Pawn might have been a good pickup there, especially because I didn't have farming villages early, but I had a specialist and I can actually double play this to gain additional actions. So I think a pawn would have been reasonable instead of my first experiment, and maybe a Squire instead of the second time I bought it. Yeah, this is a pretty straightforward kingdom, like Sentry for trashing, and then like Specialist, Old Witch farming villages for draw actions and all that good stuff, and then just get banks for payload, and then squires for buys. And it's easy to say that, like actually building that in the correct order and in the correct way is very challenging. As long as you're competing against an opponent that is, you know, putting some pressure on you. And I don't know if we did that in the right order, but it worked out in the end. Good stuff. Fun game. All right, well, I'll leave that there. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.